I think freedom schools matter most because they model that kids can learn and want to learn, in defiance of all the statistics that say we have a whole chunk of kids who aren't measuring up. So they turn the problem, and the problem is no longer kids, it's the education system. And I think that freedom schools, born out of the civil rights movement, so really steeped in this pushback at a society that labels and limits and diminishes life for so many in this country, but especially impoverished communities, Black and brown communities, is a way of renaming the world and renaming it so that kids understand who they really are, the gifts that they have. It's not simply that they gain in literacy skills, they begin to love learning. They begin to love themselves. They begin to find gifts so that they become change agents. And they're nurtured by kids, college-age kids, we call them servant leader interns. They're nurtured by kids who look like them, who have gone through the same kind of struggles and barriers that they've gone through, who come from the same communities that the students, the scholars come from. And that's a huge difference. Marian Wright Edelman often says you can't be what you can't see. And so to have college-age kids talking about what's possible in the world and uncovering with the students the gifts in them is huge. And then the third piece is the parents. Parents come to weekly workshops, and parents are often intimidated by the school system. I have a college education, I got a master's degree, and I'm still intimidated by the school system, right? I get called in, my kid's got some problem at school, and now I know we gotta measure up, we've been judged somehow. And if you don't have that kind of formal education, it's often difficult to imagine you even have a right to a voice in the system to challenge what teachers are saying about your kids, and really push back at a system that is so quick to push kids out of school instead of uncovering the root of the problem. And then I think the fourth piece is the change in the community. So it takes a community to really create a freedom school. Freedom schools don't rise up all by themselves. They don't come from one person or one little clump of people. It requires the engagement of a larger community. So it's the scholars, the students who come, it's the college-age servant leader interns, it's families and parents who then are changed and challenged, and it's the community at large who begins to see what might be possible if we really invested in our kids. I think the Mississippi Freedom Summer 1964, so 50 years ago, modeled the whole notion that communities can change the way things are in defiance of the big money stakeholders, in defiance of the way politics have gone for so long, in defiance of what has been. Communities who begin to believe they have power and see not only the problems but also the solutions can turn things around, and I think that's what freedom schools invite.